There's no sound.
Today marks the beginning of my initial campaign engagements, and I have deliberately decided to have a meeting with my religious leaders before meeting anyone or any other group of persons. I took this decision because of my faith in the Lord, because my faith in the Lord tells me that if we focus on Him first, all other things will come together to us as a bonus. More importantly, we are told by the scriptures that unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. So today, I am here with you. First, and I am sure you will bless me with your many blessings. I am here today to present myself to you first as the flag bearer and presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party for the 2024 elections. Secondly, I am here to share with you my dreams and vision for our dear country, Ghana, drawing on the successes we have made so far. And thirdly, in humility and respect to God and that of all of those who could influence. Distinguished clergy, ladies and gentlemen, coming here to meet you, I am very much in tune with the responsibility on you as religious leaders to teach and show your congregations the difference between that which is good and bad. I know that your spiritual orientation and gift of discernment, there are things that ordinary eyes and minds cannot comprehend that you can decipher with ease. It is therefore imperative that we lead the way and the charge for proper judgment. God has really blessed Ghana in every facet of our religious making. Recently, I had the honor to visit Pope Francis at the Vatican and had the privilege to engage some other cardinals. It was obvious that the level of religious tolerance and acceptance we have in Ghana has caught the attention of many others outside our borders. In fact, this, coupled with the natural Ghanaian appetite for peace, are the cornerstones of the stability and peace we enjoy currently. We have every duty and responsibility to guard this jealously for now and the future. It behoves on us, therefore, that everything we do must be geared towards fostering national unity and peaceful coexistence. We are humans, and so we may have differences in terms of our background, religion, ethnicity, football preferences, politics, and so on. This is normal. We must at all material moments ensure that in our differences we should be indivisible. Sometimes the way we run our politics gives rise to some tensions and a feeling that we are not united. But I want to charge all of us here to recognize one thing first, that we are Ghanaians before politics, and for that matter, MPP and NDC came to meet us as Ghanaians. We will still be Ghanaians, and as politicians, we will go, but the country Ghana will still be Ghana. Maintaining the peace and unity we have also means that we make decisions and judgments on our leaders, be it selection of bishops, apostles, imams, chiefs, politicians, based on competence, track record, and a person's vision, rather than ethnicity, gender, religion, or age. This will mean that we see each other as equal and the same. It will mean recognizing that God has a purpose for each one of us and can use any one of us to cause a change in the lives of his people. Both the Bible and the Quran and our individual life experiences tells us of the many people God called from smaller groups or lesser known places to bring freedom and development to his people. The God that we serve has loved us and showed us mercy, just as we are, without discrimination. And just as he loved us, so must we love our fellow neighbors. We are reminded of the need to recognize that we are one people, and God can use anyone to cause change in a society. My whole life, and by divine providence, I should say, has navigated a certain path in life that has brought me to respect any person, regardless of background, religion, ethnicity, and so on. I was born and raised in a family of 17. That is my father's children. Out of this, 9 of us are Christian and 8 of us are Muslims. Myself, I was at one point when I was growing up a member of the Methodist Boys Brigade. And currently, I am a patron of the Methodist Boys Brigade of Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that has been the beauty of Ghana's religious architecture. And I don't see this getting disrupted in any way. As a people, we should rather be more concerned about getting leaders who have the dignity and integrity to lead. My life as a respectful, humble, obedient, and peace-loving person is a testament to everyone. I was this as a young boy and the same in adulthood. And politics and position have not changed me. I pledge to be the same and even do more. I want Ghanaians to give me a chance to lead as president, judging from what I have been able to do as a person, from the Bank of Ghana and as vice president, and the strong vision I have for this country. I am in public life and politics to serve, because I believe to lead is to serve. Distinguished clergy, ladies and gentlemen, we have an election in December 2024, and I am one of two major candidates. And I want to give you, in the next portion of my remarks, the reasons why you should support me to be President of the Republic of Ghana. I will summarize or speak about why I should be president, or you should support me to be president, for about 6 or 7 reasons. The first reason I will speak about is the fact that since we have been in government as a New Patriotic Party government under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, our government has performed better in virtually every sector than the government of my main opponent when he was president. So we have performance to speak about. And I can also say in all humility, and the data will show, that I have been vice president and my main opponent has been vice president, but my performance as vice president is superior to his performance as vice president. I will also speak on my vision, and I will tell you that I have a compelling vision for the people of Ghana, and that is why you should make me the president. I will also talk about my record in fighting corruption, and that is why I believe I have a superior record in fighting corruption. And I will speak about accountability and the fact that if you make me president, I will be more accountable to the people of Ghana. So why do I say that we have performed better as a government? The data says so. It is not me who says so. I believe in data and I work with data. The data tells me that since we've been in office over the last 7 years, we have created 2.1 million jobs, 975,000 in the private sector and 1.2 million in the public sector. 2.1 million jobs in 7 years. That is more than any government in the Fourth Republic. And even though we still have more jobs to create, I believe that this puts us in a very good position to do more. We have constructed more roads than any other government in the Fourth Republic, even though we still have many more roads to construct. We have constructed more interchanges and bridges than any other government. We have constructed more airports than any other government, more railways than any other government, more classrooms than any other government. We have built more fish landing sites than any other government, more sports facilities than any other government, more sanitation facilities than any other government, more courts, 80 courts completed, more courts for the judiciary than any other government, and more vehicles and equipment for the armed forces and the police than any other government. Beyond infrastructure, the eminent clergy, our government has implemented many transformational policies for the first time in our history as a country. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana has successfully issued a digital national ID card, the Ghana card, which has provided a unique identity for all Ghanaians. No other government has been able to do that. For the first time in our history, Ghana has a digital address system. You can find anywhere in Ghana without having to ask for directions. This is the first time we have done that. For the first time in our history, Ghana has implemented a mobile money interoperability between the Momo accounts of telcos and the bank accounts of the bank. And Ghana is the first country in the whole of Africa to have done this mobile money interoperability between bank accounts and Momo accounts. And this has made Ghana the fastest growing mobile money market in Africa. In fact, when we came into office, mobile money transactions in Ghana were just 78 billion Ghana cedis a year. Last year, they reached 1.9 trillion Ghana cedis. It tells you what we have done. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana is now #1 in the whole of Africa in terms of access to financial inclusion. Anybody in Ghana can open a bank account if you have a Ghana card, or you can also have a mobile money account which works like a bank account. For the first time in our history, over 80% of adults in Ghana have a tax identification number. When we came into office, identification number, but we made the Ghana card number the tax identification number, and immediately we did that, we increased it from 4% to 85%. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in our history, Ghana is using drones for the delivery of medicines and blood to remote communities, including the Afram Plains, Afajatu South, Yagaba Kubori, so many places in Ghana. And Ghana now, it has the largest medical drone delivery service in the whole world. The largest in the whole world. Recently, I'll tell you this, recently, the zipline company came and took a Ghanaian from here to San Francisco to lead a team on drones in San Francisco. That is something that is world class. We are the leading country in the world. For the first time in our history, people can buy electricity units on their mobile phone. We take it for granted now, but a few years ago, you had to go and queue at the ECG payment to buy the electricity. For the first time in our history, we are implementing one district, one factory. For the first time in our history, we have paperless ports. We have digitalized passport acquisition, and you can apply for passports from home on your mobile phone or computer. For the first time in our history, we've implemented a Ghana.gov platform and onboarded 1,018 MMDAs, and you can obtain many services on the Ghana.gov platform. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians can renew their NHIS membership from their mobile phones. You no longer have to go and queue. And for the first time in our history, Ghanaian students can apply for student loans with their Ghana card. For the first time in our history, Ghanaians and law enforcement officers can find out the insurance status of any vehicle on their mobile phone using the motor insurance database. And we have, for the first time in our history, free Wi-Fi to most senior high schools, the 42 colleges of education, and the 13 public universities. For the first time in our history, pensioners can obtain their SNP pension just 10 days after application. And we have, for the first time in our history, implemented a nationwide e-pharmacy. We are one of the few countries in the world to have a nationwide e-pharmacy platform. And we are also networking all the hospitals for the first time in our history on a common digital platform, so that manual records become a thing of the past, so that today, if you are transferred from one regional hospital to another, from Tamale to Kolebu, you do not need your manual file anymore. Once you come to Kolebu, give them your ID number, they will enter it, and all your data will come. For the first time in our history, Ghana is implementing one district, one hospital under Agenda 111, and all districts will have hospitals. For the first time in our history, government has established a Zongo Development Fund, and we have implemented over 200 projects in Zongo communities across the country. For the first time in our history, we are getting childhood cancers, which are now being covered by the NHIS. And for the first time in our history, we are implementing a world-class STEM education system focused on schools. And we have also established the first girls' STEM school in Ghana. For the first time in our history, we are implementing free TVET, and 65,000 students in 139 schools have benefited. And we have established the Ghana TVET service. We've also made the highest investment in TVET in our history. Ladies and gentlemen, we have, for the first time in our history, also implemented the free senior high school education in Ghana. And this has increased enrollment from 800,000 to 1.4 million students and brought gender parity. We are also implementing one student, one tablet in the senior high schools. So if you look at this performance that I have just told you about in terms of infrastructure, all over the country, in the eastern region, we have completed 1,420 infrastructure projects in the last 7 years alone. And we are doing that across the country, in every region. The data is very clear. So why we should continue with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is that we have performed better than the opponent who is seeking to come back. We have. The second reason, eminent clergy, distinguished ulama, the second reason why I'm pleading and praying that you support me is that Ghana needs problem solvers, generational thinkers, and people with innovative ideas. That is what we need now. Problem solvers, generational thinkers, and people with innovative ideas. In all humility, I am a problem solver, generational thinker, and I have innovative ideas. And I have a solid track record as Vice President to prove it. Since I became Vice President, under the authority of the President, I have championed and initiated a number of policies as Vice President. These include the issuance of the Ghana card. The Ghana card as a travel document. Today, if you travel abroad and your passport gets lost, you can take a Ghana card and board a plane and come back to Ghana. Because we have brought it under the ICAO system. It has been certified. Today, when a child is born, their Ghana card number and their birth certificate number will be issued to them at the hospital. They don't have to go to the births and deaths to apply. Just as it's happening in Abrochiri, that is how it's going to happen in Ghana. Today, Ghana has a digital property address system. I was in Italy, I think last week, in Rome, and my driver was getting lost. And I was asking him whether they don't have a digital address system that they are using. He was surprised that today in Ghana, if somebody gives you their digital address, you cannot get lost. Today, I was able to champion mobile money interoperability in Ghana. The Ghana card number, we have made it your TIN number, your NHIS number, and your SNIT number. Today, I was able to drive for us to have paperless ports, to digitalize the passport office, to have Ghana.gov, to have e-pharmacy, to bring zipline drones for the delivery of medicines, to have no guarantor student loans. I initiated the policy for one constituency, one ambulance. I initiated the policy for Agenda 111, Sino-Hydro barter agreement, the provision of hydroxyurea for sickle cell patients under the NHIS, initiated Zongo Development Fund, the gold for oil policy, the system to tackle ghost names at the Controller and Accountant General, automation of the pre-mixed fuel distribution, purchase of ECG credit on your mobile phone, renewal of NHIS on your mobile phone, the National Rental Assistance Scheme, and the digitalization of our networking of our hospitals and networking of our hospitals. I've also pushed for the one student, one tablet initiative. So these are over 30 policy initiatives that by the grace of God, as Vice President, I have been able to do. So if as Vice President, I've been able to do all of this, then what will I be able to do if you give me the role of President of the Republic of Ghana? My main opponent, I've asked him this question and he has not yet answered. He should tell me and tell Ghanaians one policy initiative that he was able to bring to Ghana in his term as Vice President. Just one. And he still has not been able to answer that question. So that is the reason why I believe that if you give me the chance as President, I'll be able to do more and serve the people of Ghana. The third reason why I want you to support me is that I am a leader. And Ghana needs a leader who is committed to fight against corruption. I have a solid track record in this regard. And one of the main ways I have been able to impact the fight against corruption is through digitalization. I have now been able to lead the process of making sure there are no more ghost workers at the Controller and Accountant General Department on the government payroll. No more ghost workers, because everybody is uniquely identified by their fingerprints through the Ghana card. And ghosts cannot have fingerprints. So that is the end of the story for ghost workers. And we are saving a lot of money for government. We found 14,000 ghost workers at the National Service and over the same amount at the SNIT. Together, government is saving some 400 million Ghana cedis every year from removing those ghost workers from the payroll. We have made the ports paperless, and that has brought down corruption at the ports. We have made the DVLA digitalized, and that has brought down corruption there. We have digitalized passports, that has brought down corruption. Ghana.gov has brought down corruption as well. So I have a good record in fighting against corruption, and I can show the tangible benefits. So if you give me the chance, I will continue the fight that I have against corruption. Ladies and gentlemen, the other reason why I want you to support me to become president is that for me, if I become president, you give me the chance to become president, you will have accountability from me. This is because I have a potential 8-year term. It means I will come back to you to ask for a mandate to continue. If you give me that, I will come. My opponent, if you give him the opportunity, he has only 4 years. Once you vote for him, he doesn't have to come back. He will go for honeymoon and you won't see him again. So, for me, I will come back to ask for your vote. And you ask me, you said you will do this. What have you done? I have to be accountable to you. The other reason why I want you to support me is that I have a compelling vision for Ghana. I have a compelling vision. My vision for Ghana is predicated on possibilities. I believe Ghana can become a very advanced and prosperous country. I believe in possibilities. The good book tells us that with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. So I'm never intimidated. I aim high and I pray to God and I work hard and I believe Ghana can get us there. We have to reduce the cost of living in this country. And if you look at the cost of living, you have the issue of food prices, transport prices, electricity prices. These are major elements of the cost of living. And how am I proposing to do that? I want us to attain food security through the application of technology and irrigation to commercial large-scale farming. I want Ghana's public transport to move towards electric vehicles. Electric vehicles means that we are not going to be using fuel. We are using the electricity to drive the vehicles. So today, anytime fuel prices go up, then GPRTU and so on, they'll increase the fares. But we are going to move public transport. We are in the process of making sure Metro Mass brings in the first 100 or 200 electric vehicles this year so that we can start the process and everybody will see how bringing the electric vehicles will reduce the cost, because those vehicles, they don't have spare parts and they don't use fuel. and we will reduce the price of transport, I am told, between 40 and 50%. And that will be a major reduction. Help people with rental of accommodation. The Minister for Housing is here. We are going to expand Works and Housing. We're going to expand the scheme to assist those who don't have money to pay for rent advance. We have already begun the scheme. Of about 1,000 people have benefited from it, and we are going to expand it so that more people can just have the assistance to rent. We are going to diversify our power generation mix, and we are going to bring in at least 2,000 megawatts of solar power. We are going to move away from oil and gas more towards solar power. 2,000 megawatts of solar power will change the generation mix of Ghana and will bring down the cost of electricity for our households. We are therefore going to eliminate all import duty on solar panels coming into Ghana. We will encourage people to use solar in the electrification of their vehicles. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I also have the vision to empower the business sector, the private sector. That is where we can create more jobs. Less government, more private sector. That is the vision I am coming with. We are going to allow the private sector to build roads, to build schools, to build hospitals, and allow us to benefit and use government money for other things. The other day I was meeting with CHAS, the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, and I was telling them, and they were very happy, that we are going to allow the private sector to build their dormitories, just as you are having the universities do, to build their dining halls, to build their classrooms, and government will rent them and pay the private sector over 15 years, and after that we will own those buildings. But for now, the private sector will build, rent them to government, we will pay, and government will use our money to do other things. And that will save a lot of money and bring a lot of solved problems, because you have too many uncompleted projects in our schools, and if the private sector comes in, all will be completed. All the vehicles will lease them instead of buying them, and therefore the private sector will provide. Every school will have its vehicle, and the government will pay the lease over the life of the vehicle. So it's a new system. It's a new vision that we are coming in. I'm also going to introduce a very simple, citizen-friendly, and business-friendly flat tax regime. A flat tax is understandable to everybody. So it is a percentage of your income. If it is a 10% flat tax, everybody knows if you earn 1,000, you will pay 100. There's no argument about that. We need a simple flat tax system that will bring compliance. And for businesses, small businesses, which are 98% of businesses in Ghana, and individuals, we are all going onto a flat tax system that will make it very easy for everybody and will avoid the sort of problems that taxpayers have with the GRA. So you know exactly what you owe. And because we are moving to this flat tax system, we are going to start afresh. Everybody will have a clean slate from 2025. So I am going to introduce a tax amnesty for everybody so that we will start on a clean slate from 2025. In fact, when I went to the Vatican, I was told that 2025 is the Jubilee year. And that is the year where we forgive. And this is where we are going to cancel all taxes that are owed on 2025, and we will have a tax amnesty. Everybody will start on a clean slate. You pay your flat tax from 2025 going, and we are all going to benefit. It will make compliance easier, and government will get more tax revenue. We are also going to encourage more faceless audits by the GRA so that they wouldn't be visiting you at your offices, but you can do the audit from GRA electronically. Temaport will be fully automated. And I'm bringing a new policy for import duty. We are going to align the import duty at Temaport with the import duty at the Lome port. The ports in Ghana will not charge higher duty than the port in Lome. So that is a policy. We will not charge higher duty because they are our competitors. And if you are higher, all the containers will go to Lome and they will smuggle them into Ghana and you will lose the revenue. So we are going to make sure under the new policy, Lome and Ghana, we will be either lower or the same as Lome. That is the policy, and that will help our business people. No need for smuggling. We will push to make Ghana a pharmaceutical hub. The creative arts also and tourism will be totally encouraged. The application of digital technology, my vision is to make Ghana Africa's digital hub. And we are going to apply digital technology to fintech, agriculture, industry, and so on. In collaboration with the private sector, we will train at least 1 million youth in IT skills, including software development and coding, to provide the jobs for the youth worldwide. And we can train 1 million youth, and they don't need to have any serious qualification. Once they can read and write, we can train them to become IT specialists. And we are going to do 1 million youth and we are going to also recruit. I have a particular care for special education, and I want us to pay attention to special education in Ghana. We usually forget it, and so we are going to recruit 1,000 special education teachers and retrain teachers on how to work with students with special needs. I am going to refocus our paradigm for natural resource management. For the most part, Ghana has not maximized the benefits from our natural resources. Since the days of the Portuguese in the 15th century, gold has been taken out of Ghana and taken out of Ghana and taken out of Ghana. We haven't benefited that much from our natural resources. I am going to change that paradigm. I am going to bring a bigger focus on ownership of our natural resources. It's as if right now we don't own the natural resource. I believe that if we do the exploration, and we are going to empower our universities and the Geological Survey Department to do the exploration. Once we explore, and we have 7 gold belts, there's so much gold that we haven't yet even discovered. But once we explore and we know that the gold is here, the new policy is going to be that the ownership of those resources will be 100% owned by Ghanaians. 100%. We want, because if the gold is there, we can raise the money to exploit. And that is the new paradigm that we are coming with. We are also going to look at how to sanitize the small-scale mining sector. We want to formalize it and make sure that they do responsible mining. so that they will be given licenses and they will be required to mine according to their permits, so that they can't mine in water bodies or use chemicals that are not permitted. We believe that if we put a whole framework around the small-scale miners and they follow the regulations, the whole sector will be sanitized and we will have many millionaires who are doing responsible small-scale mining in Ghana. We'll open new community mining schemes, and our TVET institutions will train miners in vocational and sustainable mining. I also intend, and very, very important, that to help the mining industry, we should establish, in collaboration with the private sector, a minerals development bank. Just as we have done for Agri Development Bank, we will have a minerals development bank to support the mining sector, so that when we discover the minerals, they can finance the exploitation of the minerals and we keep the money in Ghana. So we will have a minerals development bank. These are just some of the ideas that I believe that if you support me, we will transform Ghana. I believe it is possible. My record as Vice President tells you that I am a doer, I am a problem solver, I am a generational thinker. I know that it's not everything that we have done. I want to tell the people of God in this room, the men and women of God, that I have a very, very, as I mentioned on February 7th when I spoke, I want us, government and the faith-based organizations, to have a very, very close relationship. I want us to have a close relationship. And I have said that if you look at the work that the faith-based organizations, the churches and so on have done for Ghana, it is more than many of our external development partners would ever do for Ghana. Much, much more. The schools they have built, the church, the hospitals they have built. But we always don't treat our faith-based organizations as partners in development. I want to bring a whole new chapter in the relationship between our churches, our faith-based Islamic organizations, and bring a golden age of that relationship between the church and the faith-based organizations and government. And that golden age means we are going to give incentives to the faith-based organizations to help government. There are a lot of incentives we give to our external development partners. They bring in things duty-free and so on. But they don't do as much for us as the faith-based organization. I'm going to give a lot of incentives to the faith-based organizations to help government. And so, as I said, on February 7th, we are bringing in a golden age of a relationship between government and the faith-based organizations, and we will work together. I know that there are challenges, and I don't want to paper over our economic challenges. We are going to work on them. Currently, we have issues with power challenges, but I can say from received from the Minister for Energy that those power challenges will very soon, and I mean very soon, be a thing of the past. They are working at it, and I am very that this will go a long way to deal with it. But I say that I want your support. I'm come here to ask for your support. I want us to go to take Ghana to a different level. I believe with your support and by the grace of God, we can take Ghana to a different level. I believe in possibilities. With God, everything is possible. And Ghana will go to the promised land. Thank you very much. God bless you, and God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Sure. Oh, we can do better. We can do better, please. Let's continue to clap. Let's continue to clap. We can do better. That was very powerful statement by our flag bearer and the leader of the party, His Excellency Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Penifua yena yetie no asumpem na bebie yedu no penifua bema kwan na nsamfua a ye omampani abedi etire akai penifua makwan ye nuanu